Philosophies revived.
Have you ever just wanted to escape the whirlwind of daily life, even if just for a moment? Imagine this: you're in the middle of a crowded room. Everyone around you is talking, laughing, or shouting, and you're trying to find some semblance of peace amidst the chaos. It's overwhelming, right? In today's world, it feels like that crowded room is everywhere on our phones, in our minds, and even in our homes. The constant barrage of notifications, news updates, and societal pressures can leave us feeling like we're drowning in a sea of noise. It's no wonder so many of us feel anxious, stressed, or just plain exhausted. This non-stop stream of information and demands pulls us in every direction, leaving little time to breathe, let alone think clearly. We're told we need to stay connected, be productive, and keep up with everyone else's pace. But at what cost? When was the last time you sat down, truly alone, without the distractions of technology or the pressures of society, and just listened to your own thoughts? For many, that moment is rare, if it happens at all. This constant state of busyness is more than just tiring, it's unhealthy. It's like our minds are being worn down by a never-ending grind. And the only way to stop it is to step off the treadmill. But how? The answer might be simpler than you think: solitude. Solitude offers a sanctuary from the chaos, a chance to reconnect with yourself, and to find clarity in the midst of confusion. It's not about running away from the world, but about giving yourself the space to recharge and refocus. In the following sections, we'll explore why solitude might be the very thing your soul has been craving. We live in a world that's obsessed with success. From a young age, we're told that we need to achieve, to compete, to constantly strive for more. It's as if we're all on this giant treadmill, running as fast as we can, just to keep up. But here's the problem: this treadmill never stops. The pressure to succeed, to be constantly productive, to measure up to societal standards, it's relentless. It's like being in a pressure cooker, where the heat keeps rising, and there's no release valve in sight. This constant pressure can leave us feeling overwhelmed and disconnected from our true selves. We start to measure our worth by how much we can do, by how busy we are, by how many boxes we can check off on society's list of success. But what happens when that list doesn't align with what we truly want? What happens when the pressure becomes too much to bear? We might find ourselves questioning everything. Is this really where I want to be? Is this really what I want to be doing? Imagine being in a noisy crowd, trying to have a meaningful conversation with someone important to you. It's nearly impossible to focus, right? The noise drowns out your words, your thoughts, and eventually, your patience. Now, imagine stepping away from that crowd, finding a quiet corner, and suddenly, the conversation flows effortlessly. This is the power of stepping back, and it's a metaphor for what solitude can do in your life. In the hustle and bustle of our daily lives, we're constantly bombarded by external stimuli: emails, social media, the demands of work, the expectations of others. It's like living in a perpetual state of distraction, where our attention is pulled in 1,000 different directions. Over time, this constant engagement can wear us down, leaving us feeling exhausted, scattered, and out of touch with ourselves. Stepping back, or embracing solitude, offers a reprieve from this constant state of distraction. It's about creating a space where you can disconnect from the outside world and reconnect with your inner world. In solitude, you can tune out the noise and focus on your own thoughts, feelings, and desires. It's a chance to ask yourself important questions. What do I really want? What truly matters to me? Without the influence of others, you can explore these questions honestly and deeply. Let's get real for a second. How often do you define yourself by what you do rather than who you are? It's almost ingrained in us from the start. When you meet someone new, one of the first questions is often, "What do you do?" We're conditioned to believe that our value lies in our accomplishments, in our productivity, in how much we can get done. But here's the thing, there's a big difference between being a human doing and a human being. A human doing is someone who is constantly on the go, always striving for the next achievement, the next goal, the next thing to check off the list. It's exhausting, and it can leave us feeling like we're on a never-ending hamster wheel. But a human being? That's someone who finds value in simply existing, in being present, in experiencing life in its fullness, without the need to constantly prove themselves. Solitude offers us the chance to shift from doing to being. When you're alone, without the pressure to perform or produce, you can reconnect with your essence. You can strip away the layers of expectations and roles that society places on you and rediscover who you are at your core. It's like peeling an onion, layer by layer, until you reach the heart of who you truly are. We've all been there, feeling completely drained after a long day of socializing, even if it was with people we love. It's like your energy has been sucked out of you, leaving you feeling depleted and in desperate need of some alone time. This phenomenon is often referred to as your social battery. Just like your phone, your social battery needs recharging, and if you're constantly interacting with others, it's going to run out of juice pretty quickly. In today's hyper-connected world, we're expected to be on all the time, always available, always responsive, always engaging with others. But this constant interaction can take a toll on our mental and emotional well-being. It's like being on a treadmill that never stops, with no time to catch your breath. Over time, this can lead to burnout, anxiety, and a deep sense of exhaustion. This is where solitude comes into play. Solitude is the perfect antidote to social burnout. It's a chance to unplug from the constant demands of social interaction and recharge your mental and emotional batteries. When you spend time alone, you give yourself the space to rest, reflect, and reconnect with your inner self. It's like hitting the reset button, allowing you to restore your energy and regain your sense of balance. Picture this: you're sitting by a serene lake, the water is calm, and there's a gentle breeze in the air. The world around you is peaceful, and for a moment, all your worries and stresses melt away. This is the kind of peace we often seek in our external environments, a beautiful, tranquil place where we can escape from the chaos of daily life. But what if I told you that this kind of peace isn't limited to external places? What if you could find it within yourself, no matter where you are? This idea of an inner retreat is something that the philosopher Marcus Aurelius wrote about extensively. He believed that true peace doesn't come from a physical location, but from a state of mind. According to Aurelius, the most peaceful and trouble-free retreat is the one you create within your own mind. It's about learning to find calmness and clarity within yourself, regardless of the chaos that might be happening around you. Have you ever noticed how your best ideas often come when you're alone? Maybe it's while you're taking a shower, going for a walk, or lying in bed just before falling asleep. That's no coincidence. Solitude is like a fertile ground for creativity. When you're alone, your mind has the freedom to wander, to explore new ideas, and to make connections that you might not have noticed otherwise. Creativity requires space, mental space, emotional space, and sometimes even physical space. When you're constantly surrounded by people, by noise, by the demands of everyday life, it can be hard to tap into that creative wellspring within you. But when you're alone, without distractions, your mind is free to roam, to play, to dream. Some of the greatest minds in history understood the power of solitude in fostering creativity. Take Friedrich Nietzsche, for example. Nietzsche was a philosopher known for his groundbreaking ideas, many of which were born during periods of intense solitude. He would retreat to remote places like the Swiss Alps, where he could be alone with his thoughts, free from the distractions of society. It was in these moments of solitude that Nietzsche developed some of his most profound philosophical insights. In the hustle and bustle of modern life, it's easy to lose sight of the bigger picture. We get so caught up in the day-to-day grindwork, errands, social obligations that we often forget to think about the deeper questions. What's my purpose? What truly matters to me? How can I find meaning in my life? These are the kinds of questions that can only be answered through introspection, and that's where solitude comes in. Throughout history, spiritual traditions from around the world have recognized the importance of solitude in the pursuit of spiritual growth. Whether it's through meditation, prayer, or contemplation, being alone allows us to connect with our inner selves and with the universe in a way that's difficult to do when we're surrounded by distractions. Take Buddhism, for example. In Buddhist practice, solitude is seen as a path to enlightenment. Monks often retreat to quiet, secluded places where they can meditate and reflect without interruption. In these moments of solitude, they can clear their minds of distractions and focus on their spiritual journey. It's in this quiet, introspective space that they find clarity, insight, and a deeper connection to their true selves. Creating a space for solitude might sound simple, but in today's world, it can be surprisingly challenging. We're constantly connected through our phones, our computers, our social media accounts. We live in a world where being busy is often seen as a badge of honor, and where taking time for yourself can sometimes feel like a luxury you can't afford. But here's the thing, solitude isn't a luxury, it's a necessity. To truly embrace solitude, it helps to create a dedicated space for it in your life. This doesn't have to be anything elaborate or fancy. It could be a quiet corner of your living room, a spot in your garden, or even a comfortable chair by a window. The key is that it's a place where you can go to be alone, where you can disconnect from the world and reconnect with yourself. Once you've created your space, the next step is to make solitude a regular part of your routine. This is where the real magic happens. It's not enough to just have a space, you need to use it regularly. Start by setting aside a few minutes each day for solitude. This could be in the morning before the day gets hectic, or in the evening after things have settled down. The important thing is to make it a habit, something you do consistently. And if you can, try to incorporate a weekly solitude retreat. This doesn't have to be anything big. It could be as simple as spending a few hours in nature, away from your phone and other distractions. Go for a walk in the park, sit by a river, or just spend time in your solitude space at home. Nature has a way of calming the mind and helping us reconnect with ourselves, making it an ideal setting for solitude. When it comes to making the most of your solitude, two practices stand out as particularly powerful: mindful meditation and journaling. These tools aren't just about filling the time you spend alone. They're about deepening your connection to yourself and enhancing the benefits of solitude. Let's start with mindful meditation. At its core, mindful meditation is about being present in the moment, about observing your thoughts and feelings without judgment. It's like hitting the pause button on your mind, giving yourself a break from the constant stream of thoughts that can often feel overwhelming. When you meditate, you create a space where you can simply be, without any expectations or demands. Meditation can be a powerful way to clear your mind and calm your spirit. It helps you to focus on the here and now, to let go of worries about the past or anxieties about the future. In the quiet of meditation, you can reconnect with your inner self, finding peace and clarity amidst the noise of everyday life. Journaling, on the other hand, is about giving your thoughts a voice. It's a way to process your experiences, to reflect on your feelings, and to gain insights that you might not have noticed otherwise. When you journal, you're not just writing down what happened, you're exploring how you feel about it, what it means to you, and how it fits into the bigger picture of your life. In a world that's constantly demanding our attention, learning to say no is one of the most powerful skills you can develop, especially if you want to make solitude a regular part of your life. We live in a culture that often equates being busy with being successful. We're saying yes to every invitation, every opportunity, and every request is seen as a sign of productivity. But here's the truth: Saying yes to everything often means saying no to yourself. When you're constantly giving your time and energy to others, you're left with little for yourself. It's easy to become overwhelmed, stressed, and burned out. That's why setting boundaries is so important. Learning to say no isn't about being selfish. It's about prioritizing your own well-being, about recognizing that your time and energy are finite resources that need to be protected. Setting boundaries allows you to create the space you need for solitude. It's about being intentional with your time, about choosing the activities and interactions that truly matter to you, and letting go of the rest. This doesn't mean cutting off all social interactions, far from it. It's about making sure that your social life is balanced with your need for solitude. As we wrap up, let's take a moment to reflect on the journey we've just explored. In a world that's constantly demanding more from us, more time, more energy, more productivity, solitude offers a much-needed refuge. It's a way to step back, to take a deep breath, and to reconnect with ourselves in a profound way. We've talked about how solitude can help us manage the pressures of society, how it allows us to transition from human doings to human beings, and how it recharges our social batteries. We've seen that solitude is not about loneliness. It's about finding peace within, about creating a sanctuary in our minds where we can retreat whenever life gets overwhelming. Solitude is also a powerful catalyst for creativity. It's in those quiet moments, free from distractions, that our minds are free to explore new ideas, to make connections, and to dream big. And it's in solitude that we can experience deep spiritual growth, reconnecting with our purpose, our values, and our place in the world. But perhaps the most important lesson of all is that solitude is something we can cultivate in our daily lives. It's not about retreating from the world forever. It's about creating regular moments of quiet, of reflection, of self-discovery. It's about setting boundaries, saying no when we need to, and making solitude a priority. So, why is solitude the cure for the sick minds of society? Because it gives us the space to remember who we are, to recharge our minds and bodies, and to approach life with greater clarity and purpose. In a world that's constantly pulling us in 1,000 different directions, solitude is the anchor that keeps us grounded. If you've been feeling overwhelmed, stressed, or just out of touch with yourself, I encourage you to give solitude a try. Create a little sanctuary for yourself. Carve out some time each day to be alone, and see what happens when you allow yourself to just be. You might be surprised by the peace, clarity, and inspiration that comes your way.